70 years, they have managed to do a great deal of updating their way of behavior, their way of standard of life, and the way that they have.
The school uniform is one of those that are key for great educational extravagance, and the mannerism and the perfect education must begin with a school uniform. The school uniform is the example, isn't it, guys? Wonderful. School uniform is a great idea to start the education.
I think so too.
It is. I've always said that. It is a great example of having the mannerism, the right and relevant education, the relevant upbringing, all begins from a pristine and a very proper school uniform. Don't you think? Without the school uniform, you can't get the relevant education that is required for the relevant environment that you are brought up in. And every environment that you have been brought up has to have the relevant background and relevant education to support that, of course. And without it, hence why Japan is completely different to all of the other nations on the planet today. For the last 70 years, they have managed to do a great deal of updating their way of behavior, their way of standard of life, and the way that they have continued to progress in the society and advance more than many of the other societies across the world. And that's what I'm saying all of the time. And this is a great example, guys. And keep that uniform alive all of the time. We're trying to do that in other parts of the world, but the kids are not interested in a school uniform anymore. They're more interested in their little different outfits. And those outfits are not going to bring them up as educated and relevantly educated kids of the future of the new world. Relevant education should begin and must begin with a school uniform. Without a school uniform, there will not be a mannered society. A society is all brought up equal. Every one of these kids are wearing a one style of uniform. A tunic, a tartan, a blazer, and the shoes. They're all regulation school uniform. Fantastic. This is Japan for you. School uniform, a great education ahead for them, a manners, a regulated school uniform, possess a great deal of discipline.
Itself, majority of us in the world don't follow that method of methodology or the practices that we should actually uphold. The very traditions should be to educate our children with uniforms. See the climate of Japan, how they have brought up everyone to realize that they're really contributing to a common purpose of the society and the social engineering of this nation. And much said, the uniform should be the relevant education right at the very beginning of all education and all educational systems that should exist across the planet.